Okay, here we go. 3.5. Solving inequalities using multiplication or division. Okay? Or division. Now here is the trick to this. If you divide or if you multiply by a negative, okay? If you divide or you multiply by a negative when you're solving these, the sign flips. So it no longer will say greater than. If it said greater than, it's going to say less than. So when you divide or multiply by a negative in inequalities, your sign flips. Okay? So if I solve this first one that says solve and graph, and it says m over negative 3 is greater than 3, how would you get rid of that negative 3? What would you do?
Multiply by 3.
Good, Jason. That was good. Multiply by negative 3. I multiply both sides by negative 3. Okay? When I do that, these cancel and I get m. Now here's the tricky part. You have to flip that sign. It no longer says greater than. It's going to say less than. Okay? So m is less than negative 9. If you do not flip your sign, when you divide or multiply by a negative, everything's going to be wrong.
Okay.
Okay?
Can you redo that?
We're going to do more. Josh, you see how many I have up here? Okay.
That's not 4 more.
So m is less than negative 9. Now, how do I graph m is less than negative 9?
You would go to negative 9, and then you would go to the right. No, sorry, to the left.
Okay, open or close circle?
Open.
Okay, open circle and parenthesis or bracket.
Parentheses.
And it says m is less than 9. So I'm going to go, or less than negative 9, go this way. And that's how I shade that one and how I graph that one. Okay? So m is less than negative 9. Make sure that you flip the sign when you divide or multiply by a negative. What?
Or to help you remember the line, just put a line between things so you know which way to face it.
Okay,
What?
that helps you. You go for it.
Do you know
said
what
what?
I'm talking about?
No clue, but that's
What are you
okay.
Okay,
talking
so put the line between the greater thing.
Oh, I know what he means.
I get
And
what you're
then
saying.
the arrow,
Okay.
every side it goes to.
I get what you're saying. Okay, how would I solve this? Someone besides Carter. Carter, do not speak. Negative 10t is greater than or equal to 34. What do you do?
Divide both sides by 10.
By negative 10. Divide both sides by negative 10. And you get t is what?
3.4.
I want to know
Negative
what.
3.4.
Yeah, but t is.
T is less than and equal to
Yes.
3 negative.
What?
Less
Oh,
than or
yeah.
equal to. Less than or equal to. Because you have to flip the sign. Okay? Less than or equal to negative 3.4. T is less than or equal to negative 3.4. You better flip that sign. Get that through your head. Okay? T is less than or equal to negative 3.4. Now, I go ahead and put this on a number line. 0, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Less than or equal to. Open or close circle. Close. Parenthesis or bracket. Bracket. Close circle. Negative 3.4. Let's pretend it's right here. And I do a little bracket. Which way do I shade?
Wow.
To the left, because it says less than or
I was talking about Corey.
Okay, so that is how I graph these. When you divide or multiply by a negative, the sign flips. The sign flips. The sign flips. Okay? You have to get that through your head. That is where everybody messes up, the number one place. Okay. Some flocks of Canadian geese can fly non-stop for up to 16 hours. Talk about a long work day.
I can't run from 16
In this time, a flock can migrate as far as 848 miles. At what average speed can such a flock fly during migration? I need to set up an inequality to solve this.
Okay, too.
How can I set up an inequality for this? How can you set up an inequality? Do you know a total of something?
Yes.
What?
848 miles.
848 miles is my total that it travels, yes? Up to 848. If it's up to 848, what does that mean it could also be? Less than. So it could be less than or
Equal to.
848. Do you see how I came about that?
Yes.
Okay, I asked myself, is there a total? And then I reread the question and said, it says as far as, which means less than or equal to.
I understand.
Oh,
Okay.
what would you do?
And it says, at what average speed can such a flock fly during migration? What do you think you do?
You could do like a variable x in the divided thing, line, and 16.
Okay. Yes, I can do, technically, yes. So I have 16 hours is how high, 16 hours is how long, thank you, that they could fly, correct?
Yes.
And we want to know what the speed is at 16 hours, or 16 hours for the 848 miles, right? Okay. So 16x is less than or equal to 848. From here, I go ahead and
Divide.
Divide by
Divide.
16.
now, x is what? What does my sign say? X is
How much they go?
Greater than
no.
How much
Less
they
than or
say?
equal to.
Less than or
848.
equal to.
Oh,
I
I
did
would
not
never
divide by a negative, so the sign stays the same. Okay, if it's positive, I'm positive it's staying the same.
Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
sure?
Write that down.
Right, I'm gonna write that down. Yeah, if it's positive, I'm positive it stays the same. Got it? If it's negative, that's when I have to change it. Okay, so 16, so x is less than or equal to, what's 848 divided by 16?
53.
53. So this speed of the birds are less than or equal to 53 miles per hour. A bird is traveling at 53 miles per hour. That's fast.
That is really.
You
That's
can.
faster than me.
That's very fast, isn't it? Think about that. We usually, our speed limits on highways are usually like 60 or 65 in this area. Sometimes 70. That bird, the bird's flying.
I'm not laughing.
Okay.
Bro, when you got hit like that ball.
Okay, here we go. Let's solve 4 more. Let's just practice 4 more.
Bro, when you fell like that.
Let me get Kate. Kate, how do I solve n over 6 is greater than 7? What do you do?
You got kicked in the
What?
face.
Multiply by 6. Multiply both sides by 6, right? And I get, this cancels, n is what?
Hey.
Hey, focus. I have 4, nope, focus. What do I get?
You will get.
Greater than what? 42. So n is greater than 42. Now, if it says solve and graph and something is this large, what do you think I'm going to do with my graph?
Do it like by tens or something?
Yeah, I'm going to start my graph probably at like, okay, stop talking. Focus. Good job. Okay, I'm going to start my graph at like 10 because I know I don't need to go like further down, right? Okay, I'm going to start my graph at 10 so I can get a visual. Now, if it's n is greater than 42, open or close circle. Open. Parenthesis or bracket. Parentheses. Okay, and so I have, let's say this is 42, and I have a parenthesis. I'll put it in a second. Which way am I shading?
To
the right. N is greater than. Greater than.
You just gotta
Talking about.
And remember, if they tell us to check it, we have to plug a number in that is greater than 42. So we plug in like 43. Is 43 greater than 42? Yes, check. What, Carter?
Like you're greater than or less than.
Why did it not flip? What did I multiply by?
Ah.
Hey, Carter's asking a good question. You need to be quiet.
6.
6. Is that a negative number?
Oh.
No, so I'm positive it stays the same.
Okay.
Okay.
Multiplying, you don't have to flip the symbol.
You do, only if it's a negative. Always, the rules always is, if I have a negative, I flip the symbol. Yes, go.
With division, it doesn't always flip for division.
Division and multiplication, it always flips if you're doing it by negative.
Only negative.
Okay, only negative. Okay, 2x is greater than -8. 2x is greater than -8. How do I solve that, Seth?
Divide by 2.
Okay, Jason wants to join in. Good. So I get x is what?
Equals to 4.
4.
I'm sorry, there's no
Four.
equal here.
X.
X is greater than 4.
Good, greater than 4. The symbol does not change here because
It's
I
not
did not
negative.
divide by a negative, even though there's a negative over here. So it's x is greater than -4, because -8 divided by 2 is -4. Okay,
What it
x,
was?
x is greater than -4. I did not divide by a negative, so the sign stays the same, even though there's a negative in this equation. Okay, it's what you're doing to it that you have to pay attention to. When I graph this one, okay, how do I graph this? Stop.
That's not nice.
How do I graph this? Open, close.
Put the
Open.
Open.
Open,
Yeah.
parentheses. Which way does it face?
To the right.
To the right. Greater than. Open, parentheses.
Like this.
Boom, 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 boom.
Bruh, think-
'Kay.
but what if the number comes first?
What if the number comes first, then Jason will talk, you have to read it a different way. We'll talk about that. Okay, how do I solve this one right here? Divide by -7, which means s is what?
Greater than.
Greater than or equal to
Oh, 2.
-2, because 14 divided by -7. Good. You flip the sign. That's good. I love it. So then I come here and I graph. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Okay, where do I graph? Open or close circle? Close circle, parenthesis or bracket? Bracket. Which way is it facing?
To the
S is greater than or equal to, so yes, to the right. Okay, now what do I do here? T over -4 is less than or equal to 8. Corey, what do I do there? Corey. What do I do there? T over -4 is less than or equal to 8. How do I get rid of the -4?
Okay, she's gonna answer, but she's not gonna say anything too.
Corey, to get rid of this, I have to multiply both sides by -4. This cancels, giving me T. Corey, what happens to, what do I get from there? Okay,
That's it. You would
nope, wait for Corey.
No.
He's trying. We'll take care of you in a minute, Jacob.
What?
Please be quiet.
So what do I do there? You turn around. What happens when I multiply by a negative? What happens to my sign? You switch it, so now it becomes greater than or equal to, and what's 8 times -4? -32. So T is greater than or equal to -32. Once again, on my number line, I'm going to be like -40, -30, -20, -10, oh, nope, 0, and 10. Okay, so I go to -32, which is approximately on this side, correct? Yeah. And I graph open or closed? Closed, parenthesis or bracket? Bracket. And which way is it facing? Right.
Yeah.
So boom, boom, hey. Okay, so the main rule is if it's positive, you're dividing by a positive or multiplying by a positive, you're positive, you keep the sign the same. If it's a negative, flip the sign. Yes. Yes.
I can't stop.